Appalachian Community Fund started about 30 years ago now. It's a regional organization. We're a grant-making organization. We grant money to grassroots organizations that are working on the underlying systems of poverty and oppression in Central Appalachia. And with that, we work in a 4-state region. All the Appalachian counties of Kentucky, Virginia, Tennessee, and the entire state of West Virginia. And in our 30-year history, we've granted over $6 million to more than 300 grassroots organizations that are working on those systems of oppression in the region. And we plan to continue to do that. So, and looking at, the LGBTQ issues in the region is something that we think is very important that we need to address. So there was an opportunity that came forward, and ACF applied along with partnering with the state project to participate in the first phase of the Out in the South initiative. And in that first phase, we are collecting, gathering information, convening people, encouraging people to network, helping to build a community. And we're also looking at putting together at the very beginning of a fundraising plan, not only for ACF and our 2 funds, but also helping the organizations that are working on LGBTQ issues also put together fundraising plans for their organizations. So this is not just about building up ACF's capacity, this is about helping to develop the capacity of everybody that's in the room that's doing this very important work. And we couldn't do it without the partner of the state project.
And the state project is also a regional organization, and we're an organization of just young people 14 to 30. And we also work across the states that ACF does, Tennessee, West Virginia, Kentucky, and we also work in Western North Carolina. And so we've been around for almost 10 years now, which is really exciting. And we're a network of a lot of young people who, didn't agree with this narrative that like all the young people in our area are gone and they're never coming back, and all the people that left were the good ones and all the people that stayed that weren't. And so we're like, actually that's not how it's happening, that's not how it's ever happened, and we know that like our stories and our lives are a lot more complex than that, and there's a lot of work that we can do together with so much knowledge that we've gotten from our experience of growing up in this place.
Heaven knows where we are going, but we know it's Him, and we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will, and we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know.
How many people are from the area? How many people had to travel at least more than 20 minutes to get here? More than 20? More than 30? More than 40? How many people had to get on a plane to get here? Oh, how many people were born or have roots here in Appalachia? Maybe I should say, who doesn't? Who's not based in Appalachia? Okay, of those with their hands up, how many are at least in the South? Keep your hands up. If you're
in the South. In the South or not?
in the South. Of those people that are not from Appalachia but are from the South. So you still got some Southern, a little bit of Southern roots. Well, this is the Out in the South project. You don't have to be from Central Appalachia or from the South. We're just glad that you've come and join us this afternoon.
So what we want to do now is a little bit like what y'all did at dinner, but a little bit not like what you did at dinner. And what we want to do is think about and describe community. But we want to do it in 4 very specific ways.
We want you to think about community in terms of where you live. What is the community and the culture there, including the values and the attitudes of people who live where you live, economic drivers. Where you live, what is the impact of jobs and industry and income levels? We're not talking about this in isolation, we're also talking about this specifically in terms of our LGBTQ lives and what these things mean. Are you in an area where discrimination rates are so high that it impacts ability to get a job? Are you in an area in which the average income is at or below the poverty level? What are the issues around jobs and income that have an impact where you live when you're lost? We want to think about leadership. Who is the leadership where you live? There's the formal leadership, which is the political leadership, and the political agenda that they set. And there's the informal leadership of community members who are very powerful within the community and the agendas they set. How does that impact you? What are those things? What impacts your day-to-day life or your life over the course of a year? And then the third one will be hot topics. Of the things that we haven't talked about, what are the hot topics that impact you in your community? Or that impact people you know in your LGBT community where you live?
That was really long for one speaking of, but I would say,
So it's interesting that, you know, our view of the positivity is more on the small scale leadership. We have more faith and trust and, you know, positive vibes towards the small scale leadership than we do like the actual decision makers. And
I notice there's really kind of a void or a missing of the formal leadership among gay groups.
So I think part of what you're also referring to is the evolution of organizations along with the evolution of their leadership and what that means for the LGBTQ community and where the positive impacts are and where the negative impacts are. Because we know that both come with evolution of organizations and leadership. We will be taking all this information and typing it up and then sending it back out to you all so that you will all each have a copy of it and that you can share it out within your communities. If you get some feedback from folks who you share it out with, send it back in, post it on the Facebook page, any of those types of things, because it just broadens our ability to think about this stuff. But before we transition again, what we want to be thinking about are hot topics. So we will be putting them up and see what kinds of hot topics we've got coming up, because these things will also shape how, as we go forward, we continue to think about the intersection of these areas with what's on the horizon or is already off the horizon and really needs to be paid attention to.
I think one of the things that I see happening out of the very terrifying political climate is that there's a potential to mobilize people very quickly around some of the most harmful things like the immigration ban and those kinds of things very quickly, and people who maybe weren't mobilizing around those things before. And so I wonder if we could think about like how to utilize that in a way that could change some of this stuff that created that political culture in the first place.
I'd say a red one is a lack of strong institutions and staff.
Yes.
We have, as an example, Knoxville The metro area doesn't have a single organization with a full-time staff person working on gay and lesbian issues.
What are the varied funding streams that small groups can take a look at and can actually do with very little people power to raise funds from within the local area outcomes that we're driving towards?